Jungkook's promise before Jimin. Is this the beginning of an unexpected collaboration? It began with a moment so brief, yet so piercing that it left countless fans speechless. Jungkook in front of Jimin making a promise that he would come and sing together. At first glance, it seemed like a fleeting statement, an emotional remark spoken casually, perhaps even playfully. But the gravity of those words, spoken in front of someone who has been both a fellow member and a pillar of personal connection, immediately ignited a storm of speculation. Was this merely a personal assurance? Or could it mark the first step toward an unexpected collaboration that no one had foreseen? The intensity of the reaction is telling. Fans around the world understand that in the universe of BTS, nothing spoken publicly is ever truly small. Every gesture, every comment, every subtle exchange becomes amplified, dissected, and placed under the harsh light of interpretation. When Jungkook promises something in Jimin's presence, it cannot be dismissed as ordinary. It carries weight, it carries history, and it carries a question. What exactly does this promise mean for the future? The relationship between Jungkook and Jimin has always been layered with professional artistry and emotional undertones. Their synergy on stage has been undeniable for years, with countless performances where their voices seamlessly blend, their choreography intertwines, and their stage presence creates an atmosphere that is both magnetic and unforgettable. Yet, for Jungkook to explicitly state his intention to sing with Jimin again, especially at a time when both members are navigating their individual paths, feels like a coded signal, almost a quiet announcement that more may come. In moments like this, the language itself becomes a puzzle. A simple promise transforms into a riddle. Fans have long studied the way idols communicate, through small declarations, unfinished phrases, and moments that blur the line between the personal and the professional. Was Jungkook hinting at a future project? Was it an intimate assurance meant only for Jimin, but inevitably overheard by millions? Or was it a spontaneous slip that inadvertently fueled a wave of theories? The tension deepens when one considers timing. Both Jungkook and Jimin are at pivotal points in their careers, balancing the weight of solo artistry with the lingering expectations of BTS's collective identity. A collaboration between the two, even if unplanned, would not just be another song. It would be a cultural event, a seismic shift capable of dominating conversations across global media platforms. The promise, therefore, feels less like a passing comment and more like a spark waiting to ignite. What unsettles many is the question of intent. If Jungkook deliberately spoke this in Jimin's presence, then it suggests deliberation, a subtle yet intentional communication to fans that something lies ahead. If, however, it was spontaneous, then the mystery is even more intriguing. Spontaneous remarks often reveal truths that planned statements cannot. And when that truth revolves around the possibility of music, the stakes rise dramatically. The emotional impact cannot be ignored. Fans are not only analyzing the semantics of Jungkook's words but also the expression in his eyes, the tone of his voice, and the immediate reaction from Jimin. In fandom culture, such microscopic scrutiny is common, but in this case it feels warranted. The energy between them in that moment radiated something that words alone could not capture. It was as though the promise carried an unspoken depth, a vow that reached beyond performance into something profoundly personal. Speculation spirals further because BTS has always blurred the line between art and life. Their music often mirrors their struggles, their camaraderie, their evolution as both individuals and as a group. If Jungkook and Jimin were to sing together again in a way that emphasizes their bond, it would not merely be a performance, it would be a declaration, one that redefines narratives both inside and outside the group. The promise, therefore, becomes more than a phrase, it becomes a prophecy, one that fans are desperate to see fulfilled. Yet uncertainty reigns. Could it be that this promise was nothing more than a kind-hearted gesture, spoken in the heat of the moment? Is it possible that the fans, hungry for meaning, are inflating something that was never intended to be symbolic? These questions are haunting, and perhaps intentionally left unanswered. Ambiguity is powerful. It sustains attention, drives speculation, and ensures that the conversation does not die down to its core. The drama surrounding Jungkook's promise highlights the fragile balance between sincerity and spectacle. Every artist knows the risk of their words being magnified, but Jungkook's statement is uniquely charged because of who stood before him, Jimin. Their shared history, their artistic synergy, and their deep-rooted connection mean of an unexpected collaboration? Or will it remain as one of those tantalizing fragments that live only in speculation, never materializing into reality? For now, fans are left suspended in that uncertainty, caught between hope and doubt, between excitement and fear of disappointment. What cannot be denied is the effect. The moment has already achieved something monumental. It has reignited collective anticipation. In an era where the members of BTS are scattered across solo endeavors, fans crave symbols of unity, however small. Promise, therefore, becomes a beacon. Whether fulfilled or not, it has already reshaped conversations, inspired theories, and reminded the world of the power contained in even the briefest words exchanged between Jungkook and Jimin. The story remains unfinished, the meaning unresolved. And perhaps that is precisely the point. The promise was not just for Jimin. It was, in a way, for everyone listening. A challenge, a question, a provocation. It compels us to wonder, do we believe this will happen? Or are we clinging to the fantasy of a moment that was never meant to carry such weight? Until an answer emerges, the tension endures. And maybe that tension is exactly what keeps the narrative alive, vibrating with energy, fueling speculation, and ensuring that the name Jungkook, spoken alongside Jimin, remains at the very center of global attention. The aftermath of Jungkook's promise is not fading. It is growing louder with every passing day. What began as a single remark has spiraled into a storm of questions that no one seems able to silence. The idea that Jungkook, in such a charged moment, would stand before Jimin and declare his intention to sing together has become more than a passing curiosity. It has transformed into a focal point of discussion that penetrates both fandom culture and broader media analysis. The nature of promises in the entertainment world cannot be underestimated. A casual statement from an artist of Jungkook's stature does not remain casual once it enters the public sphere. His words ripple outward, reshaping narratives, generating headlines, and fueling expectations that extend far beyond the boundaries of music itself. That is precisely why this moment feels so monumental. It was not a carefully orchestrated announcement, not part of a scripted promotional plan, but rather a declaration that seemed to emerge naturally, spontaneous, almost unfiltered, and therefore far more powerful than in the history of BTS. Every collaboration has carried significance. From their early days of building an identity to their global dominance, the dynamics between members have always been scrutinized. But what makes this particular moment between Jungkook and Jimin so unusual is its rawness. There was no stage, no choreography, no official release to frame it. It was a human exchange, delivered with enough gravity to make people believe that something historic might be on the horizon. To fully understand the magnitude, one must consider the symbolic weight of the two individuals involved. Jimin, with his delicate yet commanding artistry, and Jungkook, with his unmatched vocal power and global resonance, form a pairing that has always captured attention. Their voices together create not just harmony, but contrast, softness and strength, vulnerability and confidence. For Jungkook to promise a return to that union is not just a comment. It is a vision of something greater, a possibility that electrifies both fans and critics alike. Yet uncertainty persists. The entertainment industry thrives on ambiguity, and BTS as a phenomenon has often walked the fine line between clarity and mystery. It is this very ambiguity that heightens the tension. Fans are left to interpret, to imagine, to speculate endlessly on what form this collaboration could take. Would it be a live performance, a recorded single, or something far more unexpected? An artistic project that redefines what collaboration between two members could mean. The psychological impact is equally profound. For the global fandom, Jungkook's words function almost like a contract, an unwritten agreement that something extraordinary may emerge. Hope becomes currency, and anticipation becomes a force that binds millions together in collective waiting. This emotional investment is powerful, and it underscores why such a seemingly small moment has grown into an event of its own. But the promise also raises deeper questions about intent. Was Jungkook deliberately planting the seed of expectation, knowing how it would spread? Or was it a private assurance, spoken from one friend to another, unintentionally magnified by the watchful gaze of millions? The ambiguity itself is a strategic weapon, whether intentional or not. It ensures that discussion continues, that speculation thrives, and that the names Jungkook and Jimin remain locked at the center of cultural discourse. The timing is equally striking. Both artists are navigating of BTS as a whole.